Hello, CopperCube people. So, today we're doing another one, and this time it will be dialogue system. There will be a lot of coding, and code will be kind of messy in the end, probably, most likely. So, let's just jump right into it. This is a new project. As usually, I just remove the default cube at the plane. There is a plane which will serve as our ground. So 300 by 300. Let's set it in zero position, 000. Same with the camera, first person shooter. And then we just, as always, so we just do the always stuff. I'm not sure why am I doing this so every time. I just need to do it offline, basically. I think it makes sense, to be honest, to make this offline, but whatever. And I'm also going to add a couple of characters. So this one, I actually like, nice guy. Let's just set him up somewhere, maybe here, and this one, same. So position 000, and then we move him somewhere else. Let's just make him stand and also rotate him towards the player somehow. And same with sleepwalker guy. So we just stand, rotate. He stands in some sort of weird position, not sure why, but in the game he looks okay. So okay. Why does this actually look into? Oops, oops. So I'll just go in to fix this camera report so it looks normally. And what would be the idea? Like, what are we going to do? As usual, let's just discuss it first to mess it up later. First of all, it's pretty much the same system, like on how we detect if we're able to start dialogue or not. It's pretty much the same as we were doing with doors. So basically, you're coming near the character, then you're close enough. There's also raycast, which checks if you are looking to the character model or not. If you are, there is an action button, or E for short. You just press it, and the dialogue starts. The dialogue will also be scrollable. You can have multiple phrases, and we will also do some, really basic voiceover. Not really voiceover, but just some sounds to make it clear that someone is talking. So um, this is what we're going to do. Let's now jump right into coding, because this will be a lot of coding this time, and we will do some advanced stuff. So we'll call it dialog system this time. Let's just rename everything as usual. Let's just see dialog, name a dialog system here. I don't think we need any properties for this one. And let's just think about where should we start. So first of all, even if you if you come near the character, the first biggest thing is that you're still able to rotate the camera, even if you remove the possibility for player to jump by setting jump force to 0, and also, oh, sorry, if you set the move speed to 0, camera still will be rotating. So what I would like to do, I would like to add another camera, will be just a simple camera, and I will call this one, so it will be this one dialog camera. What it will do, it will just freeze camera completely, and basically, if player speaks to someone, the camera will be fixed. No way to move it, no way to move around, and so on. And also, player camera will be active, and I'll just call it maybe FPS cam. So we have the idea which camera is turned on at that moment. So let's first start by implementing this possibility to switch between the FPS cam and dialog cam. So it's smooth, and player doesn't actually notice that something has changed. So first of all, let's just reference them both here. So we will have our FPS cam node, which will be, I'll actually call it FPS cam get scene node from name will be FPS cam, and let's just do the same with dialog cam. Dialog cam node, and we will also have dialog cam here. I think I called it that way, yes. Until I misspell it, it seems to be fine. So first of all, let's just do a temporary solution. Let's just think about um, how we actually switch between the cameras. So first of all, here I will say if key equals to 49, 49 stays for 1 on the keyboard, so like that, and pressed. In this case, we're going to switch to FPS camera. Let's just make maybe 50 first. 50 is 2 on the regular keyboard, so it's just letter 2. Not letter, I mean number 2. So in this case, what we need to do, basically, we need first get position and target of our FPS camera, apply it to our dialog camera, and then we switch to dialog camera. So seems pretty straightforward, right? But it's not. But we will see. We will see just in a moment. So first of all, let's just get their positions. So we just get scene node property. We will say this FPS cam node position. Let's just say this will be not target, will be source cam, and source cam position, and the same we will do with what was it called, with rotation. So let's just remove it and just clone the line, and we will have rotation here instead of position. Oh, not rotation. What am I blah, blah, blah. What am I doing? Target. It will be target. Rotation doesn't doesn't do anything with cameras. Actually, it doesn't affect camera in any way. So we will have that. So now we will need to apply it to the dialog camera, and we will just do set scene node property. So it will be this dialog cam node, and we will say position, and we will say that we will need source camera position to be applied, and we will do the same with our target. So target, it will be source camera target. Yeah, and we also need to switch to the static camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch to activate camera, is it called? I don't quite remember. So it's something related to camera. Set active camera. So set active camera, and we will say that our active camera is now this dialog cam node. This dialog cam node. So let's just add the extension and see if it works. Again, reload and verify. It takes forever now because I have too much of them there. And we are going to apply this to our root node, not the camera node, because basically sometimes our camera won't be active and it won't work if we attach it to camera node. So now if you press 2 on keyboard, basically you can see my mouse go away from the screen and we switch to static camera. As you can see, it's pretty smooth, so player doesn't know you switch something. And basically you can't move, you can do anything. So this is exactly what we want. So now let's implement switching back. So in case we, if I thought off, why is it off? Then it's if we press 49, which is 1 on the keyboard, we do pretty much the same. But here what we do, we do like basically the opposite. We get the dialog cam and we set these properties to FPS cam. So like that. We'll see if it works. So now if I switch, basically I'm not holding anything, but this is the issue. This is the first issue which we encounter. As you can see, if you holding, for example, some movement key while switching to another camera, if you then switch back, as you can see, the camera still keeps moving. And this is, I'm not sure if it's expected behavior, is this is a bug, but there is a way to actually avoid it. And we need to apply our first fix here. There is a command which is called ccb emulate, I think, key press. We need to manually turn off all the keys, basically, all the movement keys. So probably this bug will still be reproducible with arrow keys, but who cares about arrows, right? No one plays with arrows anyway. So let me just, yeah, I already searched for it. So it was key W. I'll just copy that. These are the codes of all of keys. So when I'm actually making like a real game, I'm trying to hold all information as variables, so I don't have any magic numbers like here, for example, 4940. I will also add another one. So our keyword, which will be action button. So this will be an E key. And for now, let's just figure out how we can fix our movement. So this will be probably just a function, and I will call it reset movement buttons, and I will say emulate key, and we will have like key W, and it will be false. So it's down will be false, and we will do it for all the movement buttons. So VA S D. And now if we are switching to this, how is it called, to the dialog camera, first thing which we do, we also reset movement buttons. So now if we do it again, and if we just hold in, for example, D on the keyboard, and we press 2 in order to switch, and we press back, as you can see, you don't move anymore. But there is also another issue. Since you are able to move the cursor in this simple camera, in case then you switch to the FPS camera, it instantly rotates you. And this is the second issue which we're going to fix. Fix is also not that hard to implement. First of all, we need to add another property which will say if we are currently in FPS cam or in dialog cam. So I will call it is in FPS mode, and I will set it to true because it's true by default. No, I will call it is the opposite. Is dialog camera cam on, and it will be false. Let's put it that way. I feel more comfortable to having false here by default. So in case we now let's just add this logic here. So we change this. So in case we are switching to first person mode, it will be is dialog cam on will be false, and pretty much the same here, but it will be true now. And so now we need to add some logic to our extension code, so main on animate function. Basically, the idea is that we need to keep cursor at center. We need to lock the cursor. There is, as far as I know, there is no default function for that, but we are going to utilize something what we have basically. So in case dialog cam is on, in this case here, so this is when we have like dialog, this is when we have FPS camera. So here, in case our dialog is on, we're going to say what we need, set is it cursor, mouse, set mouse position, and we will get height, no, width, screen width divided by 2, and we also will get screen height and also divided by 2. So that way the mouse cursor will be always locked to the center, and even if you switch back to the FPS camera, so let me just maybe add some print statements, because I understand when this happens and you don't have an idea. So let's say switch to dialog mode, to dialog cam. Why is it mode? It's cam. Switched, and we will have, and here we will just say switch to FPS cam. So now if we are pressing 2, and even if we move our mouse, and when we're switching back to FPS cam, basically nothing happens. So there is no this like instant rotation thing. And also, in order to view it better, we can just enable cursor. Something like cursor visible, and we will say true. So it's always true, it's always visible, and let's see if it works. So now we have cursor, we switch into to dialog cam, and the mouse is still sort of locked. And if we switch back, there is no instant rotation. Same with movement. So basically now, at least now, this thing works quite okay. So switching between the cameras. And now, as you can see, there's a lot of this code here, which is, so this part is basically the same for both, right? And what we can do here is we can also make another function and make code look a little bit better, so we can refactor it a bit. And we will say function, is it switch, or should we call it basically switch cameras? We will just call switch cameras. Cameras, switch cams, because I call them cam. So we will have our source cam and we will have our target cam. And basically what we're going to do, we have all this stuff here. We will just copy it and we will say that this will be our source cam for now. This will be our target cam. And here we will say that we are going to switch cams, and our target would be, oh, I mean, our source will be FPS cam node, and our target would be dialog cam node. We also will remove all this part, and also, once again, we'll switch cams, and this will be the opposite. So this will be dialog cam, and this will be FPS cam. So like that, like that. Let's just make sure it works once again. So now everything seems to be working okay. Yeah. All right. So next thing, what we're going to do. Now, let's just think about how we can, so basically we're starting implementing actual dialog. So what we need to do is we need to get these two models, basically, these two dudes, these two nodes, model nodes. And as same as with doors, first of all, we're checking distance to them. So let's just have another property here, which we will call this actors to talk, maybe. I'm not sure if it's a good name. And we will have two, basically two of them here. So first of all, this will be our man, and another one will be sleepwalker. So we have man and we have sleepwalker. I'll just copy this one because man is easy to type. Sleepwalkers, I'm going to mistype it. So get scene node from name, where will be sleepwalker, and also another one, it will be man. So we will have two of them. And we need to check distance to both of them. We also only need to do this in case we are in FPS mode. So in case we are in dialog cam, there is no need to do it. It's just a waste of resources because basically camera is not moving in any way. So let's say for I equals 0, I less than these actors to talk length, I plus plus. So we just iterate through the list of these actors. We can also just store the position as we've done with doors, but since these are basically could be real actors, not real. You mean you got the idea. You can attach actor behavior to them, and they're going to be moving. So we need to know current position. They can be like dynamic, not static. So yeah. So basically we need to know their position at any given point. What we need to do first, let's just get player position. So we will just say var player pose equals to get scene node property. And we will say this FPS cam node, and we will have position here like that. And then the other thing, what we need to do is we actually need to get the position of current actor. So we will just say var actor. It will be these actors to talk I, and then we will say where actor pose, it will be this, oh, why this, get scene node property, scene node property, and we will say actor position. So now we need to check distance. We're doing it pretty much the same way, so it will be dist to actor, and this will be our player position, subtract our actor position, and we will get length. Is it? Yeah, length like that. And now let's just print it out so we can see that we are not messing anything up. And let's just, since there are two vectors, let's just do the following. Let's just remove one from the list for now. So we'll only be interacting with main for now. Sleepwalker is out for some time. So as you can see, we're pretty much getting the distance to player node. And I would say we can start dialog in case we are that close. So it's under 21. So if distance to actor is less than 21, okay, so where are we? Yeah, so raycast is pretty simple. Once again, we're doing it pretty much the same as we were doing with doors. So here we have our player FPS camera, and we are going to create a dummy sphere. This time let's do it dummy because we already know how to do it. And we're going to remove collision and occlude slide, disable I mean, and we will call it player raycast target. And we put it on the FPS camera player. We make it 0, 0, 0, and now let's just also move it on Z position. We cannot move, we can just actually say here that distance will be 22. 22 is greater than 21, so we will always catch. We should, in theory, always catch our character in case we see them. Let's also make sure it's on the correct side. So we just add sphere here, 0, 0, 0, just to make sure. And if you can see it all the time, it means that everything is fine, everything is dandy, basically, everything's working. So let's reference our target here. With let's just call it raycast target. Cast target node, and this will be get scene node from name, yeah, player raycast target, and now we need to raycast. So we raycast and check for current model node. We do does something line collides with bounding box, and we will put actor here. For our start X position, we will say we need player position X, and basically same Y, Z, and for our target position, we need to actually get our target position first, so we will just say air target, let's call it for short, so we don't have to type a lot of stuff. And we will get scene node property with raycast target node, and we will say position absolute. As you remember, if you saw the last video, the one before this one actually, you know that I messed it up there, and I spent a couple of seconds trying to figure out what actually happened. Yeah, but now we're not messing anything up. So basically, this is the way how we understand if a player actually looks to the NPC or not. We also need to identify if currently it's possible to start dialog or not. So we will introduce another variable here, and we will call it is possible to start dialog, and we will say it to false by default. And here we will just reassign it. So now let's just see. We won't be checking it like that. We'll just do pretty much the same. So we will add same as indoors video. I mean, we will add this like 2D box here. We will call it so where is the name here? It is put start dialog. We will draw some text on it. We will say press E to talk. And this font is really small, so we can just make it bigger, maybe like that, as usual. Yeah, looks damn good. Not not perfectly centered, but whatever. Oops, we're not here for the looks once again, and it will be invisible by default. So let's just reference it in our I need this window. Let's just reference it here. So we will just say this start dialog node, and it will be get syn node from name, and it will be basically this name. And we will also hide it or show it based on this property right here. So we also just do it maybe here. Set node property this start dialog visible. It will be equal to our is possible to start dialog. And now let's see if it works. So now we get near the character. As you can see, like if you're looking into the model, into the bounding box, we will get this it to talk. All right. So what do we do in case we need to start talking? First of all, we're switching camera to static camera, right? So to our dialog camera. Let's do exactly that. So first of all, we need to add another property here is this start. No, let's just call it action button pressed, and we'll set it to false. And also we are going to nullify it here. So every frame we will change our action button pressed to false. So basically you press it, and if nothing happened during the frame, it will be reset. We do it because otherwise it will be possible to switch the whole text by just holding a button, and this is not something what we want to do. So we only want to detect press, and if it's pressed while it does nothing, it just does nothing. So key equals to key E. We basically mentioned them there in the top of our behavior. So this is where we get it. And in case it's E, and in case no, nope. Oh yeah, let's do it like that. In case it's pressed, when in this case, only in this case, we will just say that this action button pressed will equals to true. So, or we can make it equal to pressed, basically, but let's just do it like that. And we don't, do we need, yes, let's just leave it for now because we will copy from there. And first thing which we need to do is we need to, in case it's possible, in case if it is possible to start the dialog and also action button is pressed. In this case, we actually start in the dialog. So what we do here, we will need to switch to dialog camera, and we actually have like all this code right here which we can use because we already wrote it. And let's see if it works. So we get near to the main talk, and we switch to dialog camera. Our message is gone, and basically nothing happens right now. Let's maybe add another hood element, which will be our actual dialog. I will just clone the existing one, and I will name it dialog window. And let's just put it maybe here somewhere. I will just probably set it like position next to 10, position Y to maybe 40, width to maybe 80. I want to take the whole screen and height, maybe like 50 also. So it just takes a lot of screen here. And it will not draw background, where is visible. So basically it should be the multi-line box, because we want to show like we want to be able to show multiple lines of text. And by default there would be no text, but we will remove it later. Let's just add some, so we know that this node is actually shown. So basically what we need to do next, we need to show this node, right? Let's remove this print, not remove, comment it out, for example, for now. And let's first of all reference our dialog window. So it will be dialog window, get scene node from name, and it will be dialog window. And here we will just show it basically in case action is pressed, and in case it's possible to start the dialog. So we will just say um, let's do it like that for formatting purposes. Set scene node property with dialog dialog window, and we will say visible, and we will set it to true. And also I'm thinking that probably we need to also say that action button is pressed. We will set it to false here. I mean, it was pressed, but now the action has happened, and for this frame we consider that it's not pressed anymore. So I don't think it will affect anything, because basically we are for the most part completed the whole thing related to how we switch to the dialog camera, so probably it won't affect anything. Do we have it shown? Do we have any text on it? It's just because I disabled the text, so we will just set it to invisible by default. And now if we start talking to a character, what? Let's just draw a background. I don't get it. Visible is dialog says in node property. What? Give me a second. So basically we're switching camera. We're saying that this is true now. Dialog window. It's reference dialog window, and we set it visible to true. It should work. Why doesn't it? Oh, it does. I'm not sure what it was. So now you can see the dialog window. Basically here we should we should see our dialog. And let's think about how we will store our dialogs. I will be using an object for that. So dialogs and an object, not array. And the keys to this array would be name of the scene node which I have, which I'm having dialog right now. So for example, this one we're talking to a man, so there would be scene node name, which is man here. And for the dialog, I will have an array, and this array will contain an objects. Each object will be presented with the following. So first of all, we will say the actor. So who is talking, or actor is not a good name, so speaker maybe. And let's say this will be like man, so it's him speaking, or it will be like player or whatever, whoever you want. And here we will have the text which is being spoken. So we'll say, hello, man, how are you? Have, no, I don't want to type anything else, just like, I mean, it will be just some not funny joke, but whatever, I just don't want to do it right now. And so basically every time we are getting to talk, we need to identify which dialogue currently we're having. So by dialogue, I'm referencing this array. So the next one would be, for example, here is like speaker will be man, and he will say all good or something else. And basically by dialog, I will reference this array of different lines and speakers. So basically, let's just create another properties. We need another reference, not reference. We need another property now. So I will call it current dialog, and it will be null by default. We also need to understand at which phrase currently we are. So basically, I will reference this element as phrases, and by default, index it will be 0. So we will start with the first one, which has index 0 when we get to that one, and then if there is no more, we'll just finish the dialog and switch back to FPS camera. Basically, that's the approach. So let's also move here, and when we are here, when we show in this dialog window, let's also identify what kind of which dialog line are we going to use. So first of all, we will say these dialogs, and since we're already having this name same as our scene node name, we can just say that let's just get scene node property, our actor name, and this will be our dialog, and phrase will have index 0. So now we are ready to show the text basically. So here in our state and the dialog is shown, we will say, first of all, we need to show the text. Let's just do that for now. So we will say set scene node property. This dialog window text, it will be our current dialog, and we will have like phrase index this current dialog. It will be null, so basically dialogs, and we will say so speaker, right? It seems like I'm doing something that won't work, but we'll see. So speaker, and then we will have plus. So we need to format the text like that. Rn. Oops. So that will be our reference to our speaker. Let's do it like that. So let's just say, let's just have a phrase variable, maybe phrase, and we will have our phrase speaker. So maybe it's more clear. So now we will have our phrase speaker. So double dots. Not sure how is it named properly. And when we will have one break, let's just maybe add 2. And then we will just show the text. So it will be phrase dot text, something like that. So we'll see if it works. Let's see if it works. So now, yes, as you can see, we are now seeing the first line of the conversation. So what I would like to do also, this is okay. I think it's okay for the most part, especially if you have a voiceover, you can just, at this time, you can also reference the voiceover, for example, here. So you will say like the O for it, and you just specify path. So you can place the voiceover. Since I don't have that, even though you can sort of do it with neural networks, maybe we do it the next time just for fun. But I want the letters to be shown one by one with some delay. For that, I also need a couple of other properties. So I will say current text, which will be just an empty line. And I will also reference this last chart time. So this will be the last time then the character was drawn. And we also need to reset this current text here the same way. So now, instead of the full phrase text, I will be showing the current text. By default, it's obviously 0, so we need to fix that. And for that, we will do the following. So this, if we need date, for example, we need now, date.now. So if this last chart time plus 40 is greater than not greater, is less than now. So basically, if last character appears 40 milliseconds, 40 is too little. Let's do like 120. 120 is okay. 140 maybe even. Okay, so if last character appeared more than 140 milliseconds before, we will add another character. What we will going to do is we're going to say this current text plus equals, and then we need to take another character from the phrase text. So basically, we will do like the phrase, and then we will get our current text length. I think this should do, basically. Let's just see if it works, even though obviously it's not completed. So we will run, yeah, we will run the issue when everything is undefined. Let's just think about why doesn't it work. It's because we didn't, of course, we also need to set last chart time to now, obviously. And let's see if it works now. So undefined, undefined, undefined. That's because here it's not the phrase, it's phrase text, I think. That's why. So now he starts speaking letter by letter. This is something that we were looking for. And as you can see, now at the end we get this undefined, 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 and so on. This is because we're extending, we're going out of the line index here with our current text, and it becomes too long. And it still tries to get some sort of character, but there is no character at this index, and it just says that it's undefined. Basically, we will going to introduce another in our property here. We will call it. Let's just do it not here, but here we will call it this phrase completed, and we will set it to false. And we will also basically we need to also reset it here, so phrase complete will be false all the time. It's our it's FPS camera when we're switching to the to this, you know, to the dialog cam. And we will only do this in case this phrase completed is false, basically, if it's not completed. So if the phrase is not completed, we are doing that. Otherwise, we are not doing anything, right? So now let's just, we didn't specify like if phrase completed or not. So we will say this phrase completed will be if this current text length will be equals to this phrase. Oh, now this just phrase length. Yeah. So if they're equal, the phrase will be completed and this won't run anymore. So let's just see if it works. So now, hello, man, how are you? Undefined to defined. It didn't work. So let's see why. First of all, let's just speed it up a bit for now because it's just seems to be too slow to debug. So once again, it's the same issue. I forgot to put text here because I'm referencing the whole object instead of just this text. So now it should work, and now the text should also scroll a bit faster. How are you? Yeah. So now it works perfectly. So the other thing which I would like to be able to do, basically, in case our action button is pressed and phrase is not complete, in that case, we should also be able to scroll the whole text. So basically, the whole text is shown at once. We will do it like probably that. So if this phrase is not complete, we will say if this action button pressed, let's just do it like that. So this, and basically we can just use, so these two conditions are common, so we can do it maybe like that. So if not pressed, so if this action button pressed, and yeah, if you already have end, if this action button pressed, we will say that current text will equal to our phrase dot text, and we will also say that this phrase completed equals to true. And in case the action button is not pressed, we will just use this condition here, and we will add in our if statement, so it will be like that. Maybe it's a little bit cleaner, not sure. The code already looks quite complicated and quite messy, but I mean, this is the nature of this functionality. It's already quite complex. So now if I just press E, let's maybe just make it 140 once again, so you can see it better. So now if I press E while the dialog, the whole dialog line is shown. So now if I press E once again, we should show the second line, right? So this is what we're going to do next. So in case phrase is not complete, we're doing that. In case phrase is complete, so if action button is not pressed, we're not doing anything, but if it's complete, so let's just do it here, maybe this phrase completed. In this case, we will say that phrase is not completed anymore because it's a new phrase. And when we will say that our current text is like that, and also our this phrase index will be increased by 1. So basically first it was 0, now we're switching to this one. So phrase index will be 1. Let's see if we need to also reset something else. I don't think so. Let's see if it works. So now where is it? Where are you? Oh, okay. So now, yes, we have this issue which I was mentioned before. I was mentioning before. So now, if I press E, it just skips 2 conditions. So here we will also add this action button pressed. We will say it's false. So now it should work. So if you talk to this character, so he talks, he speaks. We press what? Why is it happening again? Just let me just check. So basically, the issue is that for some reason, I'm not sure why, we are getting to this condition somehow. So if phrase is not completed, action button is okay. Phrase yeah, of course. We will only do this in case the phrase is completed, and also we have our action button pressed. So that's why it didn't work. We actually need to press the button, and for me it was just automatically switching to the next line. So now if you press E again, we see the second phrase, and if you press E again, we see an error. This happens because we only have 2 dialog phrases here, but we're trying to reference the next one, and it's undefined, and basically we can't get the properties of undefined, so we got an error. And now it's time to switch to FPS cam, basically back to FPS cam. So here we will say if this phrase index is equal to our this current dialog, basically. In this case, we're going to switch back to our FPS camera. So we're going to switch cams, and we will say that our let's just copy it from here. So this is switching to FPS, which is switching back. So we're just switching back to our FPS camera, and we will say that dialog cam. We're not on dialog cam anymore. So next frame we're going to go through this logic. Let's see if it works. So now if you go into our man, talk to him for line 1, line 2, and we still have the undefined. Why? I messed something up, obviously, but what was that missed? But there, what is that? What is this? Why? So it should be length here, obviously. Once again, I'm referencing the array instead of. Is it? Nope. Oh, okay, it is. So now it's switched, but we still have this this thing shown. Let's just this, I mean, dialog box shown. So let's just remove it, not remove it completely. I mean, let's just hide it. So we just say that our dialog window is not shown anymore, and I also commented out this switch to FPS because we don't need it really. So now we're talking, all is good, and now we are able to go away and talk to him again. Okay, so now this is fine. So I were talking about also adding some sort of voiceover or whatever you can call it. I'm not sure if it's a voiceover or not. Basically, I have this. Okay, um, let me just find the project really quick. So I have this somewhere. Where do I have it? This folder and then dialog. So I have this like syllable OGG, which is a really short sound. It's something like that. I think you should be able to hear it, but I don't, because I think I have incorrect device selected, but doesn't matter because I think you are able to see it and it should be pretty loud. So basically, I made it with this resource, which is just called SFXRME. It generates 8-bit sounds, and it's just some sort of like low synthesizer sound. I also shortened it in the audio editing software, so it's pretty short. It's like 60 milliseconds. And now I'm going to, first of all, I think everything will mess up if I switch the device and I can't hear anything that's happened. So um, let's just try. So what happens if I switch it? I don't want, everything will break, like the sound will break. I'm pretty confident that I can see that I can do it without hearing it. So basically, every time we are here, we will just say that we're going to also play the sound. So it's every time then the new character appears. We play sound and we will just say this syllable OGG. Let's just see if, let's hear how it works. I'm going to switch the device for now to this one. I'm not sure. I think I think it's still working, so let's just do it like that. Because now I can hear it at least, but it's for some reason it's in mono, but whatever. I don't care about stereo sound. So now as you can hear, it's sort of like voices every character the character is saying. I'm not sure also what is with sound quality. I hope I didn't break anything. I will just switch. I won't touch anything right now. I'm not sure how it works. I mean, I'm not sure if it works properly or not. But what I would like to do, vowels, vowels. How is it? How do you pronounce it like that? I think so. I think that's the correct spelling. What was the word I wrote first? I don't know. So basically, I'm gonna reference all the vowels, and I'm going to check if current character is vowel or not. And in case it is, I won't play the sound. I think playing the sound only then consonants are shown is sort of somehow better. So it will be A, it will be, what else we have? E, it will be the next one on the keyboard, Y, so I don't miss any of them. And then you have U, and then we have I, oops, oops, and then we have O. Do we have any other hours? Nope. Oh, it's actually quite weird. I never noticed that, but on the regular keyboard, almost all vowels are on the top line. Huh, that's weird. Never thought about that. But I think these are all. And basically here in our chunk of code where we place it, we say if um, this let's just save it. This will be our character. So varchar to add, like that. Char to add. Nope. Vowels. Is it the correct spelling or not? Whatever. So we will do like index of our chart to add is equals to -1. In this case, we're going to play the sound. So now let's hear how it sounds again. So I think that's a bit better than it was before. It's not it's like do something like, some rhythmical stuff. So that's a basic dialogue. What if you want to add another dialogue for another character? For example, our sleepwalker. It's pretty much the same. So we're doing like sleepwalker here, and we're making our array, and we will say like speaker sleepwalker. Is it one word? And he says something like, I like to sleep and walk, or whatever sleepwalkers say. I don't know that many sleepwalkers. So now if you go to our sleepwalker, sleep and walk, if we talking to our man, he's basically saying the same way or the same thing. And I mean, that's cool for now, but there is also one little touch which I would like to add, and this is an ability to switch between different dialogues. First of all, we don't need this anymore. We can remove it. This was our debug logic. So, for example, in case you want to switch the dialogue which was currently spoken by the character, this is also something that could be easily achieved, and we're going to utilize variables for that. So instead of storing the dialogue like that, so instead of storing array, we will store an object which stores the array of dialogues once again. So this will be pretty simple. It sounds complex, but it's simple. We will say that the first, let's just say it like start dialogue. So start dialogue will be default for everyone. Let's say it like that. So in case in this case it will be our start dialog. The same will be for our. So what is wrong here? Our start dialog will be okay. I don't need these brackets actually. Up, just up. I should have formatted only this one. So this will be our start dialog, same with sleepwalker. So instead of array, we will have an object here, and we'll call it start. And we will put our array like that. So in case we want to switch the dialog here, we will say, for example, that he has another dialog, which will be named, for example, let's say dialog 2. I don't know, great name, right? And it should have pretty much the same structure. So it should have like, for example, when we'll say I saw you speaking to sleepwalker. He is nice guy, isn't he? Yep. We can use the other brackets to put a single quote here. All right, so how do we activate this dialog? What should we do in order to activate it? What is happening here? Why is it once again? So this is an array. This is, oh, why am I putting these brackets here all the time? They are not necessary. I'm not sure why am I doing it. So basically, this is just a key. So we can, first of all, let's just for every our character, let's just specify the default spoken dialog. So we will say set CopperCube variable. We will say like sleepwalker dialog, sleepwalker dialog, and then we will have also man dialog. So they will be defaulted to start because this is our default dialog. And here inside our, why am I messing that up so badly? So inside, just sorry, focus, Alexander, focus. So inside other code which gets the current dialog, we not only getting um, the dialog like that by just key. We also will say that we'll need an actor name here, and it will be that, and we will put our actor name here, but we will also get the state of current dialog. So we'll say get CopperCube variable, and it will be our actor name plus underscore dialog, like that. So now they're start by default, and if you talk to someone, it still work. But in case we want to switch it to the other dialog, so for example, we're talking to Sleepwalker, we can simply change this CopperCube variable here. And now if we talk to man once again, what? Because I changed the not correct one. I need it for man dialog, not for Sleepwalker dialog. So here, if we talk to him, he will say the second line. And how we can switch it from inside the dialog. This is also something that is not that hard to do. First of all, we will just find the phrase where we want the variable to be changed. For example, here, let's just also set it to start once again. And we will add another property here, which we call the event, and it will be a function, and we will say that scene node, not scene node, set a CopperCube variable. We will basically set the variable man dialog here to dialog 1. Yeah, is a dialog, dialog 2. Now, we're not doing it here. We're doing it, I'm sorry, we're doing it then we're talking to Sleepwalker. I'm just in hurry once again. I'm trying to complete it in some reasonable time. So so we're saying switching man dialog. So when we're talking to Sleepwalker in state start, he says this phrase, I like to sleep and walk, and we will switch the variable here to dialog 2. Basically, we're doing it as soon as the dialog phrase is shown. Basically, if we have this current phrase here, no, if we're switching to the current to the phrase, so when we switch in indexes, so we'll do it right there. Execute event, if any. So we'll say if this current dialog, this phrase index, um, if this current dialog, this phrase index, and also we need to verify that it exists. And if it exists and it also have an event property, it's sort of like a messed up, but I mean, it should be maybe else here, but I'll just do it like that because I'm too afraid to mess everything up in the end. And I also have like 5 minutes to complete this all. We will basically execute the event. So we will just say this current dialog phrase index event execute. And we will execute this function, basically setting CopperCube variable man dialog to dialog 2. So now, if we're talking to our guy first, he will just say the regular stuff. If we talk to our Sleepwalker now and talk back to this one, nothing has changed. Why? Because probably I messed something up. Let's just figure out what. So this is the event. This one should be working fine, and this is also man dialog, and it's dialog 2. And if current dialog phrase index and this current dialog phrase index dot event, it's just because we are never executed in case we are in case it's the first one. So we need to do it somewhere else, I think. Or no, we're not doing it somewhere else. We just copy it also to then the dialog starts. So this is only executed when the phrase changes, right? No, No. We won't do it on change. We are doing the phrase ends. So basically, when you press when a phrase is completed and you press E in order to switch to the next phrase. But I mean, we are here already. Okay. No, we are just doing it before the phrase index is gets multiplied. So I just put it in the incorrect spot. So we are doing it before when the phrase has ended. So here, before re-incrementing the phrase. So now let's just try it again. Talk to man. He says the first line. Talk to sleepwalker. Yeah, and now it works. Oh, fine. We made it. We made it. It works. Um, yeah. So let's just basically this is I think this is quite advanced, to be honest, in terms of coding. But there are also a couple of things that we can do to improve that. First of all, we can also, for example, move the target somewhere so it's facing it is faced towards the player. I'm not sure if I don't think I have time to do that, but you got the idea. Basically, if you're talking to a character, you can just set camera target to where the character is positioned, so you have like this effect that shifts to the head or something like that. But overall, probably this is everything I wanted to show you today, and you can you can extend it in any way you want, basically any way you like. I think this solution is quite flexible, quite customizable, even though the code might be not perfect and I messed a lot of stuff up. But overall, it works. What else? What else do you need? Well, thank you for watching. See you next time.